Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everyone. I'm so happy to see y'all in the chats. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Just wanted to come on here on this Labor Day weekend. Wasn't doing anything tonight, so let me check on YouTube, the YouTube family. Miss Annette Foster, Tracy, Lady T, Brown Skin Beauty, Lynn Branch. Hello. Welcome, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. Let's see. I have had a lot happen. This has been a crazy week. Crazy, crazy week, y'all. Of course, if you were on my Instagram, you saw there was a death of a young lady near me. A young lady. She wasn't even 30. Two young kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. She passed away from cancer. Very sad. Her children, they're scrambling to get everything together. It was sudden. And then I had a niece have her first baby. And that's a situation that's dear to my heart as far as that. And she is back in the hospital right now. So we're sending good energy to her. I don't understand how they let her leave the hospital just to come home with a brand new baby with double pneumonia. I don't know. I don't understand that. So I've been a little edgy. So I decided to come on live since I couldn't sleep, spend some time and talk about some things that give me joy from my childhood. Now, I know y'all saw the little advertisement. Do y'all remember this? How many people remember this? Let me see in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. So y'all do know, those of you, you see how tore up this is. You see how raggedy this is. That's because this has been through my children. When they got to a certain age and they started talking about how they hate to read. Oh God, I hate to read. I say it's what you're reading. So this was the book I turned my preteens onto reading. And now that's what they do. They don't mind reading books. They love chapter books. Not chapter books, but what do you call them? Book series. They love book series. Because they're like me, I get book hangover. It's terrible. I can't even move to the next book. And sometimes I can read 2 or 3 books at one time. I have a Kindle. And at one point before I had subscriptions, I would actually spend anywhere from $150 to $200 a month on books. That's how much I read. But this is my favorite because it was the book where I first saw myself in a book. First saw myself in a book. And what I loved about it is that she was a dark-skinned girl and her mother was a dark-skinned beauty and was beloved by her husband and her daughter. And Winter just thought her mother was the most beautiful woman in the world. I love that. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. And she has released the sequel. Gosh, what is the sequel? Anybody know what the name of the sequel is? Yes, yes, it was. Anybody remember the sequel? Gosh, I think it's A Greater Love or something like that. But I've read on my Kindle, I have actually Midnight. I have that book. Yes, the bookmobile. Yes, 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 yes. I actually didn't have much use for it because growing up, I lived literally up the street from a library. I always seem to have lived like almost in walking distance of a library my whole life. I grew up right outside of DC in Virginia. I'm from Alexandria originally, Alexandria, Virginia. And man, just love that. So this book is about Winter Santiago and her sisters and her mother and father. She was the daughter of a kingpin, who lived a very privileged life inside the hood, as we know. So do y'all remember where you were or what year? Where were y'all when y'all first touched this book? Hello. Data Queen, Veronica. Hello. Alice. Where were y'all? This was introduced to me by a friend. Oh wow, really? Really? A lot of people say that. I lived what, Dana? I lived up the street. Like it was a road called Sherwood Hall Lane. And on one side of Sherwood Hall Lane was like the hood. On the other side was like family homes. I lived on the family home side, right up the street from the hood, but right up the street from there was our library. So I actually did not get this from a library. This was literally passed around the hood. So I think lots of people in our hood had read the same copy, which was so great about it. But this one right here actually belongs to my son. He bought it for himself because I kept talking about it. And if y'all want, if anybody's interested in a book club, we can do that. We can do that. We can talk about books, break down books, and I have the perfect book. And I like fiction. I like Black fiction, all of it. Mm-hmm. Yes, Sister Soldier. Yes, yes, yes. And she has dropped, I think back in March, she dropped the sequel to this book. But she also there was Portia's story. I wish I had my Kindle. I don't even know. Oh, you know what? It's right here. I could tell you. Hopefully, if it's charged. If it's charged, I could tell you. Because I have them all. And my son was very interested after reading Sister Soldier. He was very interested in reading more about Midnight, and I told him that she had actually wrote a book called Midnight, and he fell in love. He loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. My Kindle, love my Kindle. All my kids have them. There's probably about 7 Kindles in this house, honey. We got enough Kindles to give away. I believe in reading. Let me see here. My library. Oh gosh. There was her sister Portia's story, and there was the twins. Was it the twins? Yeah, Mercedes and Portia were the twins. And of course, Midnight and A Deeper Love Inside. That is Portia's story. Portia Santiago. Oh, I got so many books I gotta search through from when I downloaded them. But yeah, lots of Beverly Jenkins books. Hey girl, hey. So y'all would want to do it? Veronica, you read Midnight? I know a Veronica from Arkansas. Are you her? Good evening, Iridescent. Good evening. Thank you for coming. I'll be so happy to see you. Such a good supporter. So happy to see you. Yes, Midnight was so good. It was. If only we could find men like Midnight. How he loved and took care of his mama, girl. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, you might be. I thought that was you. Thank you for coming. I'm happy to see you here. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Eric Jerome Dickey. Now, what's funny about Eric Jerome Dickey, I've heard about him all my life. I have yet, because somebody was always putting something in my hand and I was on to the next book. I have yet to read one of his books. So I probably need to start there since I'm so familiar with the name, but unfamiliar with the work. But I would love to dive in there. And there's one book that someone recently gave me. Have y'all heard of a book called let me see. It is called Dirty to the Grave by Karen Williams. Have y'all read that? Dirty to the Grave? So good. Coming of age of four young girls who went through it. Went through it. And I will not give any spoilers on that because it's so good. I wouldn't dare. It's that good. It's that good. Oh gosh, I gotta read it. Read it together. We could read like a chapter or two at a time and come back and we could go in. Y'all could jump up here in the live. We could discuss it. I love that. Did you really? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to dig more into his story. Girl, yes, my audiobooks, yes, they give you a free audiobook each month. And if you don't use it, it just rolls over to the next. Sometimes between getting paperback books and downloading ebooks, I'll have 2 and 3 credits backed up and then can go in and just read till my heart's content. Yes, get audiobooks. It's great. While you're doing laundry, moving around the house, you can play it through. Like I have an Echo Dot. You can play it through your Echo Dot and walk through the house. Hey, Juanita. Hey, Double T. It's Dirty. Dirty. Dirty to the Grave by Karen Williams. So good. And it is on Kindle. I do not remember how much it was, but the books usually don't cost very much. They usually don't. And with that subscription, you get to use it like a library. You get 10 books that you can exchange and check out however you want to. So when you finish one and you want to read another one and you still got 9 basically checked out, as long as you turn them one, you're able to check out that 10th one. So I love that too. I do. I love like 17th, 16th, 16th, 17th century. I love that. I love that time period. I like to read about it anyway. White people in their savagery. It's a savage time. Savage time. Yes. Yes. So if we could, we'll start with, I really want to start with Dirty to the Grave because it's just that good. But any book y'all want to do, let me know and we can do it. We can do it. Do a book a month maybe, depending on how quickly we get through them. I'd love to. Yes. So yeah, but the coldest winter ever was just like pivotal for me. Cause me, like I said, I grew up like literally they say the other side of the tracks. It sounds kind of funny, but it was literally there was a road that divided like the hood from the housing part. And on top of that, I lived next to a church because my dad was the pastor, right? So of course I was on under lock and key during my adolescence, under lock and key. So when I got this book, this gave me an eye into a world that I was a step away from. I had an eyeball into, and I went to school. You know, my friends and everyone lived, you know, there, and they were good friends to me, and I went to school with them, but I wasn't able to hang out with them outside of school hours. So this book was just like me and my little naive self got this book and was just like, wow. But how this book really resonated was after I left home and went away to school was when this really resonated. A lot of this stuff that I read about in this book, I saw happen. I saw women take the fall for men in drug deals and things of that nature. I saw that happen. Simple, being silly, getting stuck holding the bag. I saw that happen. I saw things like that happen. Girls thinking so much of themselves, thinking that these men thought so much of them as well, and they were being nothing but used. I saw that. I saw that growing up. Leaving home, I graduated high school at 17. So when I left home, I was still very young and still didn't step out there too far, but I saw a whole lot. I saw a whole lot. But this book was pivotal for me. It's the book that really, really jumped me into reading, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. So, if y'all want, we can start Dirty to the Grave. Let me see if I can post it in here. Have anybody read Sister Soldier's new book? The sequel to The Coldest Winter Ever? Has anybody read it? Oh, I'm gonna spell that. Well, y'all know what it says. Dirty to the Grave. It's about 4 young women. Me too. I've read some fantasy. The most recent series of fantasy books that I've read is one called Children of the Gods. It's you did I've heard that from as I've been reading the reviews. I've seen that a lot, that they weren't impressed. I mean, to the point where they're like outraged. And then some people, I guess, if they're just reading The Coldest Winter Ever, or they read the sequel first, they weren't so offended by it, I guess, or weren't so or disappointed by it. I have yet to read it, but I am going to. I'm just so afraid of being disappointed because this was so good and Midnight was so good that I do not want. And she wrote it so like 20 years later. So there's my conundrum for me. You wrote it 20 years later, so of course your perspective and maybe even her writing style is different. So I've been hesitant to read it. Been really hesitant. I want to, but I don't want to be disappointed. What didn't you like about it? What did you like about it? Yeah, such a long time. I don't know, but I could use a sequel to Midnight. I tell you that. Woo. Let me see. I'm ready for the movie. Why haven't we had a movie yet? I know she was on The Breakfast Club and she was talking about a movie, but I don't know if she ever got to that. I remember at the beginning of thank you, Nakia. I don't remember if she ever like really got to the point of telling us what's happening with the movie. I remember Charlamagne asked her, "What about the movie?" And she was kind of like, "I'll get to that." But I'm not sure if she ever did. I don't remember her getting there because I want a movie. I like a good visual, but a good soundtrack from back in the day. Up my alley. I'm gonna want to own it. I like to own my stuff. I would want to own it. Let's see. So yeah, I really want a book club. Oh, she couldn't find the funding? What? Are you kidding me? You mean Tyler Perry didn't jump out the window? Yes, Terry McMillan. Yes. Corinne Steffens. I did not read her books, but I want to. Hmm. Which one? What did you just order, Alice? The sequel? Ah, I mean, but it's 20 years later. It seems like somebody would have been snatched that book up and made a movie, especially after the black films of the 90s. Y'all wouldn't snatch that. This was a book, and almost everybody touched it. It was iconic. How could they not make this a movie already? I think she didn't. I think because she's real sentimental. I don't think she's about the money. I think she just kind of want to hold it, keep it to herself, kind of thing. In my opinion, she's a really sweet woman. She's a little odd, but I mean, I like her. She seems like I didn't understand why this should have been a movie. It should have been a movie. Read nonfiction. I do. I read when it comes to nonfiction. Yeah, I like documentaries and current events, but that sometimes that just weighs so heavy on me. Like, what do you like? What kind of books do you read that are nonfiction? What do you like? Oh yeah, you're gonna love that, Alice. You're gonna love that. I have friends of mothers and daughters who have read it. You're gonna love it. I like black fiction. I got a lot of black authors. Gosh, Terry McMillan. You know that's number one. I read all that. Wait and Exhale, of course. Yes, Ben and Tyler Perry just seems like, and she's proud, and he is too. They probably bumped heads. I can't imagine he didn't petition her to do that movie because they were in the same. I believe she lives in New York, and I know he was there when he did all those like Medea plays and stuff in New York and New Jersey. I'm sure they came into contact. I'm sure. Yes. Yes. But shoot, it was a lot of other directors and writers that should have snatched it up. I wonder, but I guess they're doing their own projects. I guess they don't want to pay anybody for writing, and I guess the book's so iconic, they know they will have to pay her, and maybe it is her price. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Because now you got these writers out here like Issa Rae and Lena Waithe and things like that. They're dropping the shy and those visual works. Maybe it's just not. I don't know. I don't know. I would love to even see it on Broadway. I could do it. I would love to see it even on Broadway. I would go. I would go. I didn't get to see Hamilton I like Broadway too. I did watch it when it came on Disney Plus, and I enjoyed it. It was okay. I have issues that probably aren't worth mentioning. I just feel like, yes, I will mention it. With Hamilton, my only issue, I enjoyed it very much just because I love Broadway. I think they could do it. Nowadays, they can really do it. I think they could do it on Broadway with a very good original soundtrack. And the soundtrack doesn't have to be original, but I think it would be so expensive to pull that music from back then to get the rights. It would be very expensive, but they could do original music and do The Coldest Winter Ever on Broadway. I would love to see it. If they can do The Lion King and The Color Purple, they can do this. They could definitely do this in dramatic fashion. Hey, Deanna. Yeah, I think they could. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I have to put my banners up. Mm-hmm. It would be dope. I think so. I think so. I'll be the first in line. But Hamilton, what I did, my only issue with Hamilton was that I saw one black person. No, maybe even two. Two. Two, because George Washington, I wasn't quite sure if he was like biracial or he was black. And shoot, Hercules Mulligan was black. And you took a specifically black genre of music, hip hop, and it was all those like, you know, non-blacks, or as Nosy would say, 0.5 black, which I don't have a problem with that, but I just thought it was going to be way more ethnic than it was. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be when I was told about it. It's a hip hop Broadway hip hop musical. I was excited for it. I thought it would be interesting. I still enjoyed it very much, like I said, but it did remind me of it. I'm glad Disney picked it up because it was more of a Disney production, but I thought it should have more of our people represented being hip hop genre. And then I wasn't too mad because it was about, they say, a minority. Alexander Hamilton was from the Caribbean, but he was a white Caribbean, if that. I don't know how they're kind of confused on that. Alexander Hamilton was a white man. He wasn't necessarily a minority. He was a foreign speaking white man to me. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you so much. Carl Weber. I have heard of Carl Weber. Definitely. Definitely. Y'all, let me get my pen. Y'all are giving me some good stuff here. Carl Weber. The last thing I saw, Color Purple. I didn't get to see Hamilton or Kinky Boots. Kinky Boots, that's the play. I gotta see that. I've been so away from stuff with this pandemic. This pandemic been hard on these teenagers. Sheesh, like real anxiety. Like my youngest started having anxiety attacks. We got through it. It's better now, but it got to the point of medication and then coming off medication and then using tools. And yeah, we went through that with this pandemic. It was a lot. Kinky Boots, Color Purple. Really? Veronica, the original player, you talking about Hamilton? Ooh, Renee Elise Goldberg. I have heard of her. Yes. Let me see. Trying to see if there's any other ones y'all dropped in here. Ooh, I missed that comment. Did you felt like somebody else wrote the book? I figured that because she was really young when she wrote The Coldest Winter Ever, and now you wait 20 years to write that. Like I said, I just felt like it would have a different tone. Definitely. Wow. Jerome Dickey, we all know him. Why am I missing? Oh, I feel like I'm missing somebody. Eric Jerome Dickey. I don't know. Maybe not. Woo! What? Me too. With Todrick Hall, Wayne Brady. Yeah. Wayne Brady's a talent. He's a talent too. I just think he needed better management. Veronica, are you talking about Hamilton? The tickets were $5,000. Are you talking about Hamilton? Thank you, Inspire One. All right, so we got a bunch of authors here. Any book titles y'all want me to explore? Oh my gosh, I can't believe. I remember my sister had went. Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. My sister went in DC when the tickets were $300. And I was like, no, ma'am. I paid that $30 membership fee for Disney Plus and watched it there with some really good headphones so I could get the surround sound effect. And yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sienna Minks series should be a movie. Ooh, I love a series, girl. Sienna Minks. Battaglia? How you say that? Battaglia? This is a series. I love a good series. And I got into it's called Children of the Gods. And it's like they're these basically demigods, have humans living amongst humans, and they have these powers, and they're kind of vampire-esque. They're not actually vampires, like they don't suck blood, but the males do secrete venom as part of their like their going from, if you're a human, they turn you what they call a dormant, they turn you into one of them, an immortal. What? No way. Oh, oh, they could have kept them tickets. They could have kept them tickets. And what's his name? Manuel, whatever his name is, who wrote the play and wrote the music for the play. Did you see his latest project? The the Latinx production he just did that got horrible reviews. I guess he tried to do it again. Girl, I am just learning. I am just really stepping out there. I usually, like I said before, stay to like neutrals, just a little something to look like I tried to put myself together. And I'd be obsessed, like watching Jackie Ina and not in Lincoln Heights, but even Jackie Ina. Some of these makeup artists, girl, on YouTube and on Instagram are outrageous. The artistry of it all. I mean, like, how in the world? How in the world did you even put that together in your mind to get that onto your face? And you're limited to the palette in front of you. Like I'm just blown away, blown away. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love to see women do makeup. I was one of those little girls that was always in my mom's stuff, sneaking, sneaking in her makeup. I remember being young, watching my mom. She used to arch her eyebrows with a razor blade. Girl, why did I do that? I was bald. I had chopped them things so thin. She about lost her mind when she seen me and my eyebrows was gone. I thought I was doing something. She had to pencil them in for me. They didn't. They didn't. They didn't. Yep, 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 yep. Me too. Solely from YouTube. Solely from YouTube. YouTube only. And I'm still just like I learn one technique and I stick to it to kind of master it, and then I'll move on to something else. But I make sure I try to get it down pat. Like even like the contouring is still odd to me because I'm old. That contouring is that's the young girls thing. But I try to do it because I do. Like a lot of my friends don't do makeup and they'll want me to do theirs, and I want to do it, but I want to do it well. I don't want anybody looking crazy. And oh wow, oh wow, you go girl, you go. I wish I was formally trained like that, but I was always pushed in my family to go towards medicine, and I just had so many interests in other things. I wish I would have explored other things because I was really artistic and creative, and I wish I would have, you know, went with that and not just medicine. That was my thing. But I've got this. I don't know if you can see it. I got a lace front right here. I have a curly one, which is okay, and then I got a straight one, a lace front, and which I'm okay at doing it, but I want to get really good at it because, like my mom, she's older and she's getting into protective style. She's finally, I think the past maybe 2 years, finally stopped perming her hair. I've been screaming this for the longest for her to stop perming her hair. So she's now into protective styles. Oh yes. Now I do cut the boys' hair and I can do their face. And I will do a straight razor. And their dad, I used to love for me to use a straight razor on him. He swore I did better than the barber. I was just it's satisfying to cut men's hair. I don't do it for free though. I don't even let them know I do it anymore because they'll get on your nerves. But it was satisfying to me to line them up and then do their beard and stuff. Very satisfying. You've never worn a wig? I have, and that's just recently after going. And I only did it because this is my second big chop. I big chopped before in like 2012. 2012, I had brain surgery. So when they had shaved like the back part of my hair, what happened was I was scared to perm my hair again. I was still perming before that. So I was really terrified because of that. Where they had cut me, I did not want to put no perm. So I eventually just stopped perming, which I wanted to do anyway, but I just didn't. I was insecure about my natural hair, wearing my natural hair after being permed ever since I was what, 12 years old? 12 years old. So I was really insecure about that. And I will. I will. And so I finally got into my natural hair and it started growing and growing. And so I love mini twists. That's my go-to. My hair grows the best with that. I could keep it moisturized and it was easy to do. I could literally brush up the edges, do my edges if I wanted to, or just leave them without the baby hair. I could put on a headband. It was just so easy. And I didn't have to worry about humidity. That's why I love the kinky twists. The humidity, they can get puffy and it'd still be cute and attractive. I wonder if I can, let me see. I can show some of my hairstyles. I'm so used to using Facebook and different things on my phone that when I get on the PC, I be lost. Really? What surgery did you have, Veronica? I had a craniectomy for a trigeminal neuralgia. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Let me try to share my screen. Let y'all see some of my. This is when I first, right before I had stopped perming my hair because I knew I was going to have surgery. So I quit perming it. So it was like I had like started regrowing it out and cutting the perm off slowly. And then I finally just cut all that perm off. I was not excited about that, but I was determined to wear my natural hair. I did not want to be ashamed. I remember feeling that. I refused. I just was not going to do it. And so I wore my natural hair. And then eventually, and that's a twist out, looking crazy. But I started to fall in love with my hair. That's a flat twist. You could tell when I started. You see them eyebrows? That's them old school eyebrows. That's them eyebrows right there is telling my age. Really? 3 aneurysms? Oh my gosh. And Data Queen, girl, talking about sweat, yes. And that's what made me want to start looking into making my own wigs because of the heat, how thick they were up under there. And then I watched a couple YouTube videos and saw how there's so many different ways to make them. And so, see, there go you can see like here, the the mini twist. And as were getting longer, the more they grew out, the more I loved them. I love them more and more. Yeah, I've the eyebrows. Yes, girl, I fell in love with my natural hair, and that's when I started. I did my first trim there, so I did straighten it to trim it, and then I learned to dust them with the scissors while they were in the twist. I started trimming them while they were in the twist. I worked at a children's hospital, so that's why it looks real early in the morning, girls, to get there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I love working with kids, especially in the healthcare field. I love making them not afraid. That's my oldest one, his first set of locks that I did. I learned how to do it, and I did his locks. And the only reason that's crazy is the reason that I bound them like that was because they had a problem with his locks on the job. He also worked at the hospital. He works up in surgery. That's my baby. Let me get him up here before he kill me. And then I straightened it again. I blew it out. That's a length check. And that's actually extension, spring twist hair. It was the really, really tightly coiled one because I wanted something more protective. Because summertime, I'd have a hard time in summertime, even with my natural hair. It just gets so like it's very low porosity, so it just soaks up the moisture and air immediately. Immediately. So even with the kinky twist, I had to maintain them. So I tried to put in, which this did help a lot. Adding hair to my twist, it did help a lot. and I was able to style them. And then I did it with longer ones as the winter months came upon me. And I did all that myself. Inspire one, yes. It does take courage, especially when we've trained so long and called nappy for so long like it was a negative. I went through that, shaking that off. It is a process, but once you do, you're so over it. You're so over it. Once you do it, you really are just over it. Over it, over it. And that is my second time I trimmed. And I trimmed it in layers. Thank you. And that's back to my mini twist, because working at a hospital was just easy. Easy, easy, neat and easy. I love those. That's my go-to protective style. But this time, even that still takes some manipulation. So that's why I wear like the headband wigs and the wigs, or I wear a ponytail now because I need to like put it away because my hair is really fine. It can get really full and thick if I'm not messing with it. But if I'm touching it on a daily basis, honey, it's a problem. And then I would take the twist and then flat twist the twist, and it would give me this look, which I loved as well. I love my twist. That's what I do. And I locked up my middle boy. I locked his hair up. That's me letting the twist out, doing the twist out. And this is like right when I started really seeing my real texture. Your 4C, when it's healthy and there's no split ends, your 4C is a curl pattern. I don't believe that none of us don't have a curl pattern because I do hair. I've been cornrolling hair ever since, gosh, my oldest is 28, ever since, gosh, probably 30 years. I've been cornrolling and braiding hair, beating up little girls. I've done it all. I do locks. I do all that. And that's when I started seeing my texture. Like, wow, my hair is really really healthy. Once I got to that natural and I loved it, you can't tell me nothing. And that, you see, and here we are. When I got to this point, it was so much hair. I was literally ponytailing it. It was just so much hair. And so this is where I was right before I did another big chop. Don't look at my eyebrows. I know they look crazy. They look crazy, but my hair was so healthy. Healthy, healthy, healthy. And let me tell you what I did wrong. I put the front up in a bun, is a half up, half down, and then the back, I flat ironed it. But I flat ironed it with a product that was for natural hair. And when I did that, for some reason, my hair didn't revert back when I washed it. And I should have done a protein treatment and didn't. So it just killed it. So I just cut it all off and started all over again. But my hair really grew really long. This is like the longest my hair had been as an adult. Now, as a child, it had grown that long, because I didn't have chemicals in it. But as an adult, this was as long as it had been healthy. And that this one was taken before that last picture. But the longer and the healthier it got, gosh, the better the texture was, the easier it got to maintain. And I use a shampoo bar. There's a YouTuber on here. Her name is 21st Century Natural Woman. I buy her shampoo bar, and her shampoo bar is what set my hair off growing. I still buy it to this day because I believe that shampoo bar was it for me. It was the game changer. Like I was doing everything right. I didn't do anything different. When I changed to her shampoo bar, oh my goodness, my hair just grew and it was so healthy. So healthy. I had never seen, and even as a child, I had never seen my hair this texture. And it says I have a nice gray, but it didn't look like this when I was a kid. It's just whatever she puts in that shampoo bar, and it's all natural. and it doesn't remove all of your hair sebum. She talks about that. She explains that. It's kind of boring, but it's very educational. So I did listen, and her hair is down her back, down to her butt, and her children's hair. So that was 3 years since I had big chop, and I trimmed 3 times, and I did the dusting on the ends of the twists like every other month. I would just take those twists and just trim like the ends. And that is the little boy across the street, who I love like my own son. He lives across the street, and I did his locks from beginning to finish. And that is how he wanted me to braid them. That's my middle boy, and his are super long. My baby. That's his with a fresh retwist. It's like pulling teeth to get them to take a picture. So, I had to be quick. That's why it's kind of blurry. And there's me. And that's the ponytail I wear, the Cuban protective style. And I have 2 cornrows in the front. And this is when I first started doing makeup. You see, that's about as much as I would do. That's as far as I would take it. There was no colors involved or anything. And those are that springy hair. I would literally cut those in half and just put those with like the 2-strand twist just to give my hair something extra protective. And that's how it came out. So I just rocked it. Yeah, the natural beat, the no makeup look. That's all. That's as far as I can take it. But now I've just gotten Nosy done got me a little bit bolder in my makeup choices. Me being silly. Faux locks. So I did my own faux locks for the first time off a YouTube video. YouTube video. They came out cute, but I did not like the way that felt. That was hell. I couldn't wait to take them things out of my head. I could not wait. Girl, I could not wait. And that is a headband wig, protective style. My same nude makeup. Okay. Oh, that's it. Let's see. All right. I'm back. So yeah, I do a lot of hair. Girl, it was, yes, it was working my nerves. Them faux locks, that was like we said, we getting older and we get hot at times. And I was ready to snatch them. I need something I can remove quick. I have no longer have the patience for that type of heat. I got to be able to get rid of it. I got to get rid of it. Them faux locks was too much. It looked cute, but I could not deal. I cannot deal. Girl, YouTube will show you how to do everything. I can tell you a story about my dryer stopped working. So I called the man to come fix my dryer. And because my dryer sits in like a closeted area, he had to remove the doors in order to get to the dryer, which I thought was ridiculous. Like, why? You a whole man. So he was like, oh, you get somebody. It cost me $200. It was going to cost me $200. Get somebody to come remove the doors and I'll be happy. I'm like, what? So he leaves. So I'm trying to find somebody to help me remove these doors to pull my dryer out. My son's aunt comes over. And she like, girl, you better YouTube it. I'm like, okay, I guess. I didn't think we was going to get nothing. Girl, we YouTubed it, figured out what part it was, went to the hardware store, picked up a $40 part, came back, followed the YouTube instructions, and fixed my dryer. YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. I'm convinced. Convinced. Thank you. Thank you. You do. You have a good night. I appreciate you being here. I really appreciate it. I tell you, I got some good content coming with Titanic and the other about the doula situation. It's just getting schedules matched up. Nosy did put in a word with Titanic. Titanic did say she would do it, so that's awesome. So it's just getting her scheduled because she is busy. She's doing big things. Scheduled with I have two professional doulas, one from Philly and one from here in Appalachia. I'm here in West Virginia, so girl, big things. They have a lot of information. Very, very, very knowledgeable women. It's very exciting and interesting. And the one here, I'm actually going to participate in a live birth with her. So I'm going to be her assistant during a live birth. So hopefully, if it's all right with the patient, we'll get some footage there too. So I got some things coming. I just wanted to kind of have a good get to know me. I do like to read. And I thought maybe we would even go back through this book, read it together again, or maybe something new. But since everybody's kind of read this, we could go back and do Dirty to the Grave. We can get started on that. And maybe I'll come and read part of a chapter, and then we'll finish off the chapters privately and come back and discuss it. And then I'll drop the link, and we can come up here and discuss it on the live. I would love that. I would love that. I love to talk about books and stuff. It's so interesting to me. So, it is late, so I can let you all go. I appreciate you so much for being here and coming to get to know me. And me too, girl. Me too. You know what? Me too. I have nerve pain as well. I have what's called trigeminal neuralgia, is why they had to go in my head. And it got to a point where I couldn't even brush my teeth or speak or eat sometimes or swallow and be in the hospital. We could talk about that a whole nother time. And then I went to degenerative joint disease in my hips, bone on bone in my hips. And I was a hospital worker, honey. I walked the hospital floors, so devastating. But getting stronger. I'm doing way much better. So you're welcome. I appreciate you being here. Just anytime, y'all drop in the comments anything you want discussed or want to talk about, anything you're interested in. I love to research. I'm a reader. I'll research anything. We could bring it up here and talk about it. So yes, catch the replay and drop some comments. Tell us what you think. Definitely want your input. You'll see the beginning, and we will need that input in the comments. Oh, yes. Okay, Dirty to the Grave. I can't wait. I will. Let me know. So I'll come up, like we're coming back Thursday, and I'll have a specific topic for Thursday that we'll get into, and we'll talk about how many of us have the book and when we can get started. How about that? We'll do that. Does that sound good to everybody? All right. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all being here with me. So like the video, share, subscribe. I know y'all already subscribed. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. So much. So we're going to get into some things, and we are going to still on my channel talk about some celebrity news. When they do something crazy, and we can bring it in and we can talk about it, and it's relevant to us. I know a lot of you, I believe, are my age or around my age. So yeah, we can be talking about some things that are relevant to us. The things we're going through, kids getting out the house and growing up and doing things. Good night. I enjoyed you. Thank you. We're going to try maybe an earlier time, because I know a lot of you work, and I work for myself, so I can kind of do my work whenever I want to, however I want to schedule myself. But yeah, just let me know if you want it earlier, whatever you want, let me know. You know, I'm open to everything. Consider all things. So thank you so much for coming, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. And I will see y'all next week sometime, unless something happens and I gotta come on here and tell y'all about it. It'll probably be Thursday. And I'll see y'all then. And I'm trying to get my intro. I have an intro and outro, but I gotta figure out how to get it on here, okay? So I'll see y'all later. AGS, you're the same age as my birth mom. I'm adopted, but I just found my birth mother 3 years ago. Same age as my birth mom. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great, happy, good Labor Day. Rest on your Labor Day. Don't let nobody work you to death. Don't do all the cooking. See y'all later.